Yes, Sir Hairless here. So, I've received this name in the comments a lot. Where I'm from, we'd call him Gabriel Henrique, but I notice he says that differently, so I'm going to try and pronounce it correctly.
My name is Gabriel Henrique.
Gabriel Henrique? I tried. Many of the comments that I received requesting him said that he is from America's Got Talent. So, today we're going to be watching his America's Got Talent audition, and then depending how that goes, we can maybe get round to some of his other stuff in the future. I thought it'd be better to start from the beginning. I've received recommendations to react to Gabriel on multiple different videos of mine to multiple different artists, which I find quite interesting. I guess it shows that his style probably appeals to many different people. I've received requests on my Pentatonics videos, my Diana Ankudinova videos, my Home Free, Dimash, David Phelps, you know, the list goes on. So in this audition, he's singing Run to You by Whitney Houston, which is funny because just a few videos ago I did a reaction to Pentatonics' Run to You, obviously a different song, but what are the chances that the songs have the same name? The fact that he's singing Whitney Houston's Run to You immediately gets me thinking, one, he's either done an arrangement of it, or two, he has a very high voice. So it'll probably be one or the other, or both. Enough with the chit chat, let's get straight into it and find out what Gabriel is about. High voice.
There's so much that you just don't see, but if you would only take the time, I know in my heart you find. Oh, girls get sometimes who isn't always strong. Can't you see the heart of me? I feel so alone. I wanna run to you.
You can see the cogs turning in Simon's brain here. He's just thinking, wow, this is a unique voice I have in front of me. So it's clear that he has a high voice. That's definitely one characteristic amongst other things. I just want to go back over what we've heard so far because there's actually quite a bit to talk about before carrying on with the rest of the audition. So to go back to the beginning, the first thing I noticed is he's singing in the same key as Whitney Houston, which means that he's singing at the same pitch as Whitney Houston. So my immediate thought there is, she's a woman, he's a man. This is quite daring. It's very high, but he's obviously managing easily, it looks like, with this voice of his. Also, he's using the exact same backing track as Whitney Houston's original song. And just to show you on piano exactly what it is that we're hearing there. So his initial entry, you know, no one knows what to expect here, and he comes straight in on a blended voice on that first note, before then going to his falsetto. And a blended voice just means it's a mix of your full voice, like I'm speaking in now, or your falsetto, which would be like... And a blend is a tricky technique in itself. Not everyone is able to do a blend. And I really like his entry on I Know, because again, he's changing style of voice in those two notes very quickly. So the I N is in his chest voice, and the second part of No, where he slides up, that again is into a blended voice, but much more towards the head voice or falsetto side of the blend. And then he starts the next phrase, that when you look at me, on the same note that he finished the previous phrase, except this time he's now using his chest voice again. So he's literally just switching between the different types of voices, and then he finishes this phrase again on the same note, and this time in his head voice. So what I'm thinking at this point is, okay, we're a few seconds in, and Gabriel has an extremely fluid voice. He has a naturally high chest voice, he can blend very easily, he has a falsetto, so I'm kind of expecting him to make the most of that as opposed to singing in the lower registers. The other thing that we immediately notice with his voice is how vibrato heavy he is. And it's a very quick vibrato, so it just means that his voice is wobbling very quickly when he sings. I'll just play about 5 seconds, a good section that demonstrates that. People either have a quick vibrato or not. I'm sure some people can control it, but in general, you don't really choose what you're born with. It's just how you sing. And I don't really have an opinion on whether I prefer a quick vibrato or a slower vibrato. It just depends on the singer. But I think in Gabriel's case, this quick vibrato definitely complements his tone, his timbre of singing voice. And then just before we carry on with the rest of the audition, I've noticed that he uses a lot of variety within phrases, which really grabs our attention. We can't really just sit back and go, oh, okay, he's singing in his head voice for the next 10 seconds. And then he goes on to a new phrase, and then we say, oh, he's singing in his lower chest voice. I'm going to play you 3 seconds of music now.
You would only take the time.
In this phrase alone, in those 3 seconds, we get an airy voice, which is a much weaker sound, his falsetto, and his full chest voice, which is a much fuller, stronger sound. Yeah, so far I'm liking it. You know, he's clearly an exceptional singer. I'm excited to see what else he can do. And I just love seeing Simon's face as well. You know, Simon is all about the business, and he sees Gabriel and he's thinking, there's big potential here. Right, let's carry on from where we left off. I can see why he's been recommended to me so much. What a voice. What a range. He's obviously so proficient in the extreme high registers there, going into whistling as well. There's some more points just from that second half actually, because that's when the real wow factors kind of come out, so I'd like to go over some of those bits. So conversely to what I was saying before about him having a very vibrato heavy, quick vibrato voice, here he's choosing to do the opposite of that. He's choosing to sing with a flat, straight vowel sound on oo. So there's no wobble on it. There's no, it's just a. Notice how by him choosing to do that, it almost sounds like an instrument is playing. I think it's very cool because for every single different note he's singing, he's making a conscious decision about how am I going to sing it? Which voice shall I use? What type of sound will I make? He's very meticulous with his singing. Following on from that, we get his first belted high note in his chest voice that is sustained. And again, you'll notice that he chooses no vibrato. Until the end of the note when he does put in vibrato. This creates the effect of the note growing in sound. And then just after that, sorry, he's just sung a top B flat, which is a little bit higher than a chorister is typically expected to sing. So we've heard him go high in his head voice, but then just after that, it's his chest voice, his full voice, and he's going up to a C sharp, which is this on the piano. I've used this example I'm about to show you in my other reactions, especially with Dimash, so if you've seen that, I apologise. But that note up there, the C, is typically a wow moment when it comes to an operatic tenor. If you hear an operatic tenor singing that, it's like, wow. So it seems like Gabriel's just casually just like topping off all of the expected ranges of singers, and then... Sorry? Up the octave. He's just whistled the top F, or an F6 as people know it. Again, I feel like I'm repeating my Dimash videos here, but that is the top note sung in the famous Queen of the Night aria. And as I said before, Gabriel is using a whistle note technique to hit that. Pretty remarkable. So we've heard his whistle notes way up there. Now listen to this little bit. So that note there probably doesn't sound that high right now, just because of the context of what we've heard him do, and he makes it seem so easily here. But again, it's higher than a chorister is expected to sing. Just for context, here is the top note that a chorister is expected to sing. I'm sure if you heard that in a church or cathedral, you'd be thinking, wow, this is a super high descant. Well, they sang this note, and Gabriel there was singing this, and it just sounds so effortless. And of course, Gabriel has gone through puberty, so his voice is deepened, unlike the choristers. Yeah, I mean, thank you for everyone who recommended that. That's a pretty remarkable voice. With a voice like that, I imagine he must have been a singer before coming into America's Got Talent, right? Either way, I'd be very interested to hear him sing music in a different style or mood. So if you have any recommendations of something perhaps of a different style that he sung, do let me know down in the comments below. Very cool voice, very cool new discovery there. Let's leave it there. As always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.